It's structuring a successful team and team building. I'll give you some background and insight on teams. I was a team leader, we'll call it, a team manager for a good portion of like maybe 10 years of my career. I joined up as with a partner and then started the team. It was the home team. We were the top team in the company for many years. I've also attended some team summits with regards to some of the trainers, and I have to give a shout out first of all to Richard Robbins and his team summit. A lot of the material that you see today and in the future, some of it's self-derived, others are taken from his team program, and you'll see that in our drive on our drive on Google. So when you do click on the Heritage Group Drive under the Teams section, there's a lot of resources that I'm going to be taking some information from throughout the next 5 weeks of the team structuring a successful team. So this is the first section, and as we go through, I'm just going to go over what the program is going to entail. So week one is the team, which is what we're doing today, is the team structuring, culture, mission, and hiring. That's going to give you a good foundation to how to build out the team, how to structure it, business planning, and making sure that everything is structured so that any team members or administration that is on the team is organized. And that is crucial in developing a team. Week two, we're going to go into communication systems and team meetings. In order for a team to be successful, communication is probably the number one thing. Most people, anytime that there's some hiccups or some issues that come up throughout your career, it typically is a communication problem. Either expectations weren't met or they weren't established from the beginning. And making sure there's clear, concise team meetings and communication happening is so important. Week three is the marketing, profit centers, and CRM. So what are the sources of income from the team? Where are you going to get your team members getting their leads from? And what are the profit centers and what tools can you use in order to best organize that? Week 4 and 5, we are going to delve into the seller and buyer journeys. Either you're going to be selling properties, you're going to be buying properties, and each of those journeys needs to be consistent and amazing so that anyone that is on the team that's doing a transaction or working with a buyer or seller, they get put through a very consistent high level of service. So we're going to go through those high levels of service. So today is team structures, the team culture, hiring great people. Now with team structures, right starting from the beginning of what is your team going to be? A lot of people will partner up from the beginning just to have sort of a collaborative, let's say, whether it be money, whether it be advertising, money to put towards advertising, or just the motivation of a daily come on into the office, we'll collaborate together and get up and get going and help motivate each other. That's not really a team, that's a partnership, or just people helping each other out. The true partnership can be considered a team, and that's why I wanted to go over it with you. As an example on the screen, you see a picture of Don and Sergio Novello. They've been a team with Century 21 for many, many years. Happens to be a husband-wife team that's very popular. I find that husband-wife teams work well because those people are already in a relationship that's married, and that's hopefully not going to go anywhere. And partnering is not going to obviously upset that fold. You see a lot of partnerships at work that are husband and wife, but there are partnerships that can work that are not husband-wife. It's two people, again, getting together and share ideas, pool money, resources, and motivate each other, hold each other accountable. I will say when I took a business course way back, partnerships were discussed. And I'm not sure if anybody else has taken any business courses, but they say partnerships are sinking ships because they can be very difficult to manage, actually more difficult than a team of 40 people. Often the commission agreements can be confusing. Expectations weren't set out from the beginning. You have to make sure both people are happy all the time, and communication is so important. The 50-50 split on all business is suggested because it's very straightforward. Everybody knows what's happening. You're going to both contribute equally in different ways. Some people could be better at marketing, other people are better at networking and sphere of influence. So technology is always discussed. It's best to partner somebody that does have the opposite skill set as you do, and those teams can work, those partnerships can work. That positive relationship has to be always 100%. Sometimes people get their nose bent out of joint because one person's producing more than the other, and that's why those partnerships can cease to exist. We don't talk a lot about partnership and team building because it's two people working together, and each partnership is very unique. What we want to talk about today is the next structure, which is that team leader model. And typically the team leader is the Rainmaker. Now I'm going to explain what a Rainmaker is to the people that maybe haven't heard that term before, but when it comes to teams, it's a very good word to use because we have to look at why you're going to start a team. And if you're going to be in a situation where there's going to be members underneath one team leader, that relationship needs to be clearly defined. And the best situation is when there is a Rainmaker. There is a person of high level production that has more leads than the business can handle. Okay, if you're not in a position right now where you're at a point where your business is taking over your life, you have too many leads and you're not able to satisfy, let's say, a buyer's agent, you're not ready for a team. The reality, you may partner with somebody and try some different some things out in a partnership agreement, but the team leader model is the one that's the most popular in the industry. There's a clear definition of who that person is, and they make it rain. And when I say make it rain, the leads come in, and they get given to the different team members, and that's the value. And we'll talk about in future sessions about how to hand off those leads, how to produce those leads, and where those leads come from. Okay, they have to maximize his or her business first. Okay, so which means, and I typically see that in around that $300,000 range. So at $300,000, usually people have enough business that the quality of life starts to deteriorate. So you're not enough time with the kids, the family, you're working nights, weekends, everything, and you need to be more effective. Okay. In that case, you're going to need to bring on first, not a buyer's agent, but an assistant. And this is a discussion that's happened amongst many, many people at that 300,000 range. And most people stay within that 300,000 fairly consistently. And that's okay. That could be where you want to be. But if you really want to live a better quality of life and double your income and then build out a team, the assistant's the first thing that they need to do to maximize productivity, because what they end up doing, the administrator for the team or the team leader will be able to take the mundane stuff, the stuff that you'll pay administrator to do, the administrator tasks to do. So you have to ensure the productivity of that Rainmaker is maximized. Most team leaders will bring on an administrator and immediately double their income. They'll go from 300,000 to 600,000 in 1 year. We just had that happen with one of our team members this year that we got an admin for. That person got an admin, and it's usually that discussion. I know you've been talking about this for 4 years, and the admin. I finally did it, and I doubled my. Like I should have done this years ago, and that's happened quite a few times over the last few years where we've had that happen. If anybody wants a referral on that, I have a few agents that will gladly talk to you about that and tell you the benefit that they saw in the admin. In fact, one of those team members currently is looking at bringing on a second admin to the team right now because they've seen how important that is. Okay, so that scaling of the team can only happen when the administrative stuff, the stuff you would pay an hourly rate to, is being taken care of. And what you're doing as the Rainmaker is making it rain more by talking to more people, doing more advertising, converting more leads. Okay, and that time is so crucial. So that's the team leader. Let's look at a typical growth pattern of a team. You start out, of course, just with the agent, and then the first thing you get is an assistant. Most people will jump into a buyer agency right away. They'll look for buyer agents to take over the business. But the problem is you're not effective that way. You're giving away half of your income for somebody else to look after a lead that you could have looked after if you weren't paying yourself $15 or $20 an hour now for an administrative assistant to look after that stuff. Okay, so if you're efficient, let's say an administrator costs $40,000 a year, that's okay. You're at 300,000, 40,000 is a write-off. You're going to be paying administrator to do the stuff, and you're going to skyrocket to 600,000 very quickly. So 40,000 will make you another 300,000. It's a great return on your investment. That's the first step, is the assistant. Okay, then you can get a buyer's agent, and that agent and or agents will take over your buying clients. Listings to last. Listings are important. So the team leader holds on to those listings very carefully and they don't give up listings very often. Okay, so stick with the buyer agents until you get to the next step where you trust somebody who is as good as you are. You essentially could get them to trust to be on the listing with you, and possibly even go in listing appointments eventually. Okay, typically that's the $1 million plus agent that is going to actually have and start bringing in listing agents. Okay, as soon as you get to that million plus, that $1.5 million, $2 million, you're going to need more assistance. You're going to need a client care specialist. Okay, in order to properly manage all the marketing, as well as all the feedback and client care stuff. So the gifts, the phone calls, really making sure that team's running smoothly with regards to the marketability. And remember, a team assistant is typically the agent team lead's assistant. Okay, they will be doing some stuff for the team, there's no doubt. But for the most part, the buyer agents, listing agents look after their own paperwork, right? They do up their own stuff. So not to confuse that. The next step is to have, so you've got your assistant, you've got your client care, you've got a marketing person. Now you've got 3 assistants doing $4 million a year in sales. We have a current situation where Century 21 team is making $7 million gross commissions. And not only do they have the assistant client care and marketing, they've got their buying and listing agents, they're on their team assistants. So they went and got an assistant because they're at that level of 300,000-400,000 on the team. So those mega teams will even have assistants for the agents that are the buying agent, listing agent. So that gets all the way down to the end, and it can go from there. You can have now a team that's considered almost a brokerage at a certain point in time, where they're almost taking and doing the majority of the things that the size of a small brokerage would do, right? So teams within brokerages, et cetera, is something that is on the mass scale, the 20 million gross commission and income, and that's just massive, of course. But this is a typical growth pattern of a team. Not all teams are created equal. So there are different growth patterns or different things that different teams do differently. But when you go on with like a company, Richard Robbins, that does a health check, you would hire them on to come into a big team and say, let's find out where we can maximize our efficiencies. This is what they look at. They look at, are we making everyone on the team efficient, and do we have the right systems in place? And this is straight from them as well. So in terms of a team model. So I'm going to talk about just general keys to building a successful team for a minute, right? So remember the core values of why a person would want to be on your team and why you'd want to have a team. And the bottom line is you need to provide leads and opportunities to your team members. Okay, if you don't have leads and opportunities, you're not going to have team members. It's not just a group of people sitting around a table and working together efficiently. That's not really the successful teams. They're there to the value. Number one, when somebody says, why are you on a team? Is, well, they provide me with opportunities and leads. They'll do a few other things, right? There's some confidence there. There's some team recognition and branding and stuff, but for the most part, that's what they want. So you got to be able to have those systems in place. Number two, make sure you have a great administrator. So again, back to administration, that is the key to a team success. They will run efficiently if you have good people. So we're going to spend some time today talking about hiring great people and how important that is. And you're running a business at this point in time that's not just an independent contractor. You are running a small corporation, right? You're putting pieces in place to make sure that things are professional, run smoothly, and Everything is built out in order to provide the best support to all team members and the clients. So number 3, communication, clear expectations, team meetings, different ways that you're going to communicate with different technologies, whether it be CRM systems, as well as different pieces of technology that it keeps everyone on task, right? Accountability. So communication's big. We are going to talk about that. I believe that's next week. So number 4, support and training. And another one of the values that a team member is looking for is that support and training. We're unique in the industry. We have great full-time non-selling management team members. We provide great support, but being part of a team is a little different, right? They're in the field, they're out there going on listing presentations for you, being in the thick of it. And that can be one of the biggest, one of the big advantages for being on a team for some of the agents, is that you provide that additional support and training within the team environment. And having that healthy environment, right? Enjoyable. There are teams that people don't want to be part of for a reason. And usually it's because it's not fun. You know, it needs to be enjoyable, right? Create an atmosphere of success. Have downtimes, have sessions where, you know, it could be a membership to a gym. Everyone, you know, has membership, or, you know, you do yoga Wednesdays, or, you know, different things that are fun within the team environment that everybody can relax and not just have to focus always on, oh, they're always asking me, have I followed up on those leads and this, it's always work. Well, it needs to be enjoyable and healthy. So that's another key successful factor. And then having a clear and fair contract, right? So that's just another thing that's kind of looked over sometimes, is, you know, what contract did you sign somebody to? Is it fair, right? Or is it over contracted, right? So you can't do this, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that. And it's, you know, very litigious. I mean, let's be fair and open and honest with everybody, and clear-headed. And I'm sure everything will run smoothly because of that. And having that in writing is very important. It's important for if there is any misrepresentations made from the beginning, as what the splits are and how they work. Okay, so having that clear and fair contract. I like it simplified as well. So let's talk team culture. Now, if anyone has taken a business course before, every single business should go through this process. And there's tons of information on this. There are people you can hire to come in and develop the team vision and value and mission statement. There are experts that really focus all their energy on creating a great vision, value, and culture environment, and coach you through that. So important and greatly misunderstood and overlooked. Okay, so this is something you want to work on yearly, daily, monthly. You want to remind all your team members that this is our core values. Does that fit within our core values? Where are we heading? Where do we want to be? And then in the end, what's our mission statement? What do we look at every day and say, this is what we want to aspire to? So start off with the core values. Number 1, you know, it's who you are. Daily words to live by. You know, use descriptive words like, we want to be honest. We want to have fun. We want to have integrity. We want to be innovative and relentless. So come up with a list of words, first of all, that define the daily of, you know, words to live by and what matters to you. Write them down. Get the team involved in doing it. Sit down with everybody and say, you know, do that brainstorming and start writing those down and come up with it could be a top 6, a top 8 of the words we want to live by. As soon as you get that, you want to create a vision statement. Where do we want to be? What do we, you know, just let's look at a 3-year, 5-year, 10-year goal, talk about it in the team. Do we want to be the number 1 team in the company? Do we want to be the number 1 team in the area? Is it about production, or is it just about the consumer experience? Do we care less about monetary that we're not going to focus on all the time? Or are we going to, and are we just going to focus on doing a great job? Because you need to develop that team culture around those things. If numbers are important to you, if you come from that background, it's like key metrics are big in your business plan and what you want to run the team with, then those metrics should be mentioned in your vision. We want to be X, Y, Z, right? But some teams are like, no, take the, I'm a touchy-feely I want to make sure that we just provide that great service, the numbers will come. then you're going to have your vision statement is going to be very different. So an example of a vision statement is to deliver an exceptional experience for customers buying and selling real estate across Ontario. That's just an example of a vision statement. You'll go through different variations of that to start, but have a brainstorming meeting with your team and come up with that. If your team isn't built yet, that's okay. You're going to come up with that with your admin as well, or just maybe your manager, your office can help you, but come up with what you want to be. As soon as you've done that, you're going to move into your mission statement. This should be what's up on your wall every day, on all your maybe marketing, your listing presentations, on your website. It's what you want to, words to live by, of course. It includes your vision and values. As soon as you've gone through the process of coming up with those vision and values, now you can create that team mission statement, right? Ours is to provide the gold standard in real estate, and we have your back. It really incorporates a few things. When we sat down and did this as a management group, we sit down yearly to create this and look at it and relook at it. We want to, first of all, make sure that everyone in our company provides a gold standard. So we provide a lot of training, right? When you say, well, how do we provide the gold standard in real estate? Well, that's for having good realtors. How do you have good realtors? Well, we have good training. We got good coaching. We really aspire to be better than the rest. So that's where that comes from. We have your back. That was something that both agents and the management team can get behind. Anytime we look in a situation, let's say a realtor within our team or our company they did something bad, right? It's not good, right? We identify, sure, that wasn't great. How do we learn from that? But don't worry, we got your back. We're gonna, whether it be, through a TREB complaint, RICO complaint, whatnot, we got your back. We're gonna put that in the best light. We're gonna move on. We're gonna learn from it and move on. So don't worry, we'll give you the best. So that's why we live by that mission statement. Yours should be defined by your core values and your vision. So come up with that mission statement. Now you have a very structured team outlook, right? Something that you can sit down with a team member that's joining or that you're interviewing and saying, this is what what do you live by? What's your mantra? What's your mission statement? How does that sit with you? And if that person doesn't align with the core values of your team, that person probably won't be hired, okay? Clear, concise, let the public know what you want to provide as well, because that'll be on all your marketing pieces, okay? Let's talk about assistants. We're going to jump into the hiring and what an assistant would do for a team. Okay, because that's usually a very, and it's an involved question, but it's a question that comes up quite a bit to the managers is, if I do hire an assistant, if I really am at that time where I'm going to make that decision, what am I going to get them to do? How do I structure it? Don't worry, we got your back. We got lots of resources. This is found in our Drive, again, under Teams, in the Google Drive. And we have not only a job description, there's job posting examples as well. If you're going to put a posting out for an administrator, we can help you with that. And I'm going to get to some of the other support we can provide in this area as well. But let's just go over some of the key components of an administrator. This person, we've put in 3 things. This is the first set of things, and that's just the administration side of things. So central emails, respond accordingly, things coming in, communicate daily with the team leader, prepare material for the team meetings, buyer seller package of presentations, book showings, coordinate showings and meetings with clients, CMAs, listing packages, monthly marketing analysis, follow up with clients, solicitors, other agents, organize team calendar, time block accordingly, database programs, the CRM system, maintain photos, open house and MLS websites, coordinate preparation of listings, feature sheets, photography, signage, all over marketing, manage and update agent websites, blogs, track, coordinate inbound leads from websites, social media emails, maintain, organize listing and deal paperwork, and organize all files and advertising. Most people are like, oh, I was just thinking they're going to help me with my listings and my deal paperwork. No, there's a lot more that can go involved in administration. I believe wholeheartedly that every administrator needs to be full-time. We've tried part-time with a few agents this year. They moved quickly into a full-time scenario. Part-time administrators can get pulled in different ways. Even full-time can be pulled where you're calling them at 8 o'clock at night saying, I got an offer and I need you to help me with this. And they're pulled all over the place. So you need to make sure they're available. Most agents the flexibility of hours tends to be crazy. They want part-time. They only want to pay 20 hours a week, but they want them available all the time, which is, hard to find. So keep that in mind. The next set of job descriptions is the client care for the assistant, providing excellent follow-up with clients and agent feedback, client gifts on closing, birthday card program, home anniversary program, team events, drip campaigns, lead nurturing. But think about clients as one of the areas that client care. Eventually, if you need two assistants, one's going to be looking after client care and business building. The other one's just going to be straight administration. So you're going to need to define those roles. Business building is what are they going to do to help build the business? Manage and enhance social media presence, right? Online, promote client testimonials on websites, facilitate all creative on advertising, track and analyze advertising, create efficiency per dollar spent if you're doing online stuff, provide opportunities, feedback to team members, and promote sales-driven goals. So those are some more areas that an assistant can help with uniquely. If your assistant loves the team, loves the environment and the culture, and is working really hard for you, again, recently we've found those team assistants drive more business than what they get paid. And what I mean by that is, can you imagine having and hiring somebody at an hourly rate to do all this for you? And by the end of the year, they've given you 5 referrals from friends and family that they believe in who you are. And so they're referring you business, right? Maybe they get a little bonus for that. Right. So these are things that we've experienced. Some people have been profitable, believe it or not, hiring an assistant, which means they brought in more business than they got paid, which is, unique. But if you're developing the proper team, that's what can happen. This industry is very unique that way. Hiring, whether or not it be an administrator or whether it be a team member. Okay, it should be very similar. You're creating a different experience or a similar experience for each of the, whether it be an administrator or a hiring agent, but you need to have common values. Culture fit, right? Making sure we talked about that. Skills can be taught, but if they've got the right, let's say they're coming from a different industry and they don't know real estate, that's okay. If they've killed it and they're doing awesome in that other industry and they're really, really good. Peter Page and I were talking about a lady that provided just exceptional service at, I think it was in the Upper Canada Mall, one of the stores, and his wife had said, "Oh my gosh, if I could, I'd hire her tomorrow. And it doesn't matter what she's just excellent at what she did." And that transfers. That person's culture and key common values that they have been utilized in one area, and they can be shifted, right? They're not going to all of a sudden give poor service in another industry. They're going to continue giving great service. So skills can be taught. Remember that. Hire slow, fire fast. Turnover is costly. So when you're hiring somebody, don't hire just because it's the first interview and they're looking for a job. And I've seen this a lot where people have been hired because it's oh yeah, they sound good, perfect, I'll hire them. Really take your time during the hire process. Check references. Make sure you do second and third interviews and get others involved and maybe a fresh set of eyes. There is a DISC profile that can be done for hiring. Bit of a fan of it because you get to see personality styles. For an administrator, you want somebody that's very much attention to detail, follows through on things, calm, cool, collected. Those type of people make great administrators because they do want to come in and have all the ducks in a row and they'll organize you. Okay, so, but if you hire somebody that's the life of the party, they may give you some referrals, but they're dropping the ball a lot on the administrative stuff. So make sure if you would like, you can, I don't have it on the screen here, but Tony Robbins, as you probably are aware, Tony Robbins, a big motivational speaker. If you go to Tony Robbins' website, they do have a free DISC assessment that you can ask them to take. Okay, so that DISC assessment will go through personality styles and it teaches you all about that. Kind of a separate little side thing, and but it might be best to have a team member complete that so that you can see what type of personality they are as well. Number 3, onboarding and training. So 48 weeks is common in terms of training and onboarding somebody as an administrator or even an agent on the team, right? So have them go through a very structured training program and utilize the company resources in this. One of the next slides is going to show you some of the different resources we have for this. We do pride ourselves on our training, which means if you bring in, let's talk about an agent for a minute. If you bring in a new agent onto the team that maybe hasn't been onboarded into our company as we've brought them from another brand or brought them brand new, we will onboard them for you. We'll teach them and get them into the core systems, making sure that they do know how to do certain things, a minimum for the company. So we as a management group can onboard them in our quick start program, as well as administrators. We've got a two-step approach for administrators. We have an administrative training program. I'll get to that in a minute, but it's a video program that will take them through the process of being a team administrator, which is really cool. We will also pair them up with a front desk staff for you and get them, if they, for example, web forms are doing offers, if you want to teach them how to do that, we have no problem shadowing one of our front desk staff when they're creating offers, listings, etc., learning some of the systems, whether it be Stratus, Treb, any of the Treb systems, as well as Hamilton too. So it could be Matrix, Treb, Matrix, transaction desk, web forms, that sort of stuff. Actually, it should be number 3, isn't it? I think it's number 3. But anyway, have a team branded team package. Have a branded team package. So when that person's hired, make sure that you roll out the red carpet. Okay, actually, roll out the red carpet. So this is another section. Number 1, have a branded team package. The values, the mission, the vision, that should be in your package. Marketing examples of stuff that you've done, marketing listings, etc. Client testimonials, bios of team members, communication schedule, when the meetings are, your contract, all the policies that you may have in your team. This should be a package that when you hire a team member or an administrator, that they're given. And roll out that red carpet, wow them on day 1, take them out for lunch, have a gift sent to the house with a nice welcome to the team. This would be the way that you would want to establish somebody's working relationship with you. The more that they enjoy working with you, the better job they do, and that opportunity even to drive your business in the positive way is so much greater. So roll out that red carpet. Number 2, have a detailed training schedule ready for them. So whether it be the company training that we're going to provide, those videos, the one-on-one with the manager, admin can be scheduled with the company admin, as I mentioned, and create a business plan, right? If they're a buyer agent. So buyer seller agent, having that business plan that is involved with what you pride yourself on in terms of your foundations, your buyer journey, seller journey that we'll get to, so that they know where the sources of income are coming from. Benjamin Franklin said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I may remember, but involve me and I will learn." So make sure that that you involve them, right? They're part of the process, the communication, the team meetings, going out and working with them in the field. Creating that team environment is so key. So roll out the red carpet for those members. Here's the admin and onboarding and training that we do have for administrators. So Heritage Admin training. I have 6 up there. I'm not sure if it's 6 or 8 sessions. I can't remember, but they're on YouTube. So they can go through session 1 all the way through in terms of the process of hiring admin. Okay, so it goes over a lot of the stuff, disc profile, structuring the team, CRM systems, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of the team program is actually in the admin training because the admin needs to know how to run your team. And really, let's be honest, they're going to end up probably running the team. Most agents that are Rainmakers are not managers. They're not the person that's going to be really organized and hosting all these meetings and stuff. Usually it's the administrator that steps in and does a lot of that for you. So this is sort of key for that and available from us. All those agent contract, actually, let's talk about all the information first of all. So anything that I've gone over here, as well as in the future and the next coming seminars, is going to be available in the Heritage Drive. So when you're in Remarketer on the brokerage hub, You click on Heritage Drive. Some people just go in through Google because they've already had that connection. But this, if you haven't, that's where you go. It's under the Teams folder in the agent drive. So the drive link is found in Remarketer. Make sure that you signed into Google. So you do have to be signed into Google to get access through your Century 21 email account. That's sometimes people forget and they're already in their other Gmail and it says, oh, I can't get access to that folder. It's because you're not signed in as a Century 21 email account. Okay, so it's in there, all the resources, and your agent contracts are in there. I wanted to mention agent contracts because it is a key component. A lot of people ask about them. If I'm bringing on a listing agent or a buying agent to the team, where's the contract that we should sign with them? Well, not all teams are created equal. All the commission structures are different, but there's some generic templates in there. As example, here's some of the key components of one of them. Right, you want to be talking about the standard of performance and the duties of the agent and the compensation, what's the property of the team leader and how expenses are done, advertising, etc. What you expect out of your buyer agents. There's a schedule there. This, again, it's a template. Feel free to add, take away, and make it your own. Also a compensation schedule. Let's talk compensation for a minute. A lot of people ask that question, how should I compensate? It's based on your value. What are you offering in value? If you're a Rainmaker and your leads, and lots of extra business, the way a team should be structured, then you're on a 50-50 split typically, right? Some people do 60-40, 10% to the company, so the person takes home 50%. However you want to do it should be spelled out in the compensation package. But let's say it's a 50-50 split, and that's on everything. Okay, I've seen a lot of people do split up. Well, if you bring your own business, I'll just take 25%, so it'd be a 75-25. Well, guess what they're going to be focused on, right? Not new business, their own business. They make more money that way. It may seem fair at the beginning, but what's fair is that it's consistent, it's clear, and it's simple. Everything's 50-50, unless you sell your own property, right? Which I won't charge you anything for. You sell your own property, just 50-50 on everything, right? They will bring in their own personal direct family transactions. That will happen. Well, that's I don't charge anything for that, so I put that in there. But they'll bring in their friends and family, other transactions they do charge people with, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, there's value on both sides, obviously, when it comes to the contract. But in the end, I just find 50-50 works, right? Or 60-40, and try not to really delve it down like, well, if you do an open house and I'll charge you this, or if you get the lead from an online source, it's more or less like just 50-50, right? If you do get to the point where you are a $1 million plus team, you may start looking at your compensation as being a bit different. The 35-35-35 or 33-33-33 is another model that I've seen out there. That is very clearly defined that 33% of everything that's made off the transaction goes back into building the business. 33% goes to the team leader, and 33% goes to the individual agent. So those are usually when listings are handed over. Like, here's the business, just go out and sell them a house. You've got so much business, and the agents are selling a lot more quantity, and that they just get 33%, right? So I have seen that model out there, and it works. Again, not all teams are created equal, and we can sit down and go over whatever you're thinking and try and structure that and help you with that. Team member has the company commission plan with the company separate from the schedule. So whatever that company commission plan is, it's obviously separate, and that company plan is only taking a portion of the commission that the agent gets. So it's not like the company will take a 10% plus a transaction fee right off the top. It's whatever the split is. So if an agent isn't on a 90-10, 750 a transaction, for example, and they've done a 50-50, it's 10% of the 50%. And only half the transaction fee. So just gives you an example. Any separate commission agreements should be outside the scope of the schedule written in a standard company communication referral form. So if there's unique situations where it's like, hey, listen, this one, I know we're on a 75-25, but this one here is where I'm handing it to you. I'm going to go on a 50-50 with this one particular. Make sure that's written down. Always have any commission agreements reduced to writing. That's the only way that we can really clearly defined, and that nobody gets their nose bent at a joint when things are not being followed through and expectations are done. So that gives you an example, some agent contracts, and clearly defining those roles. And kind of, puts a final end to the first session that we're going to talk about with this team structuring and models, culture and hiring. If you can join the next session, I believe it's on I think it was communication team meetings. So, and that will be held shortly. All right, everyone. Well, have a wonderful week. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. If you like our video, please hit the like button, the subscribe, and even the little bell to get notifications, just so you can stay in touch and watch more of these great videos.